So going into this rematch and kind of letting everybody know after this fight, which basically means win, lose, or draw, moving up, means I have to move up.
Welcome, everyone, to Boxing Scene's Top Stories, only on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I am George D. Metellus. Remember to download the ProBox TV app where apps are available, because part of the beauty of downloading the app and getting this great content in ProBox TV is the tremendous trio of world champions that we have for you. We have Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, and ESPN analyst Tim Bradley joining us here on Top Stories. Well, another fighter considering making moves at super featherweight is the current WBO featherweight champion, Mexico's Rafael Espinoza. Now, El Divino will defend his belt on the Navarrete Valdez co-main in Phoenix on December 7th and is reportedly considering a move to 130 pounds after his rematch with Robeisy Ramirez. All right, Paulie, Espinoza, 6'1". He's big for 126. Is this a good idea for him to move up to 130?
I don't think you guys are a choice. I was wondering why it took him so long to begin with. This guy's huge at featherweight. I don't even understand how some of these guys make these weights. Just mind-blowing and baffling. But he was obviously doing what he had to make the weight, and it paid off for him. You know, he was able to become a world champion in this weight class and, you know, make a reputation for himself within the boxing world. So now, if he can move up in weight to a more comfortable weight, where I'm sure he'll still struggle to make weight, dude. You're 6'1", even 130 pounds is crazy to make. So I'm sure it's not going to be a picnic to even make 130 pounds, but it'll give him a little leeway. And like I said, when you come up, this is why guys kind of exert themselves to keep their weight down so they can, you know, be a bigger guy at the lower weight class, become a champion. And that way, once you become a champion, you're sort of in that room where now you're introduced to these conversations among the bigger names in the sport. If you don't get those wins against those type of championship level fighters, you never get in that room to be in the conversation. So once you've done it, no matter what weight class you've done it, now even if you move up, you're in the conversation. And so I think it was a smart move for Espinoza to be at featherweight, even if it was a struggle. Obviously, the results paid off for him. But yeah, I mean, it's about time he goes to 130, because I could not understand how this kid was staying at 130 pounds.
Hey, Chris, what do you make of Espinoza's move from 126 to 130, considering his size?
Well, I mean, for one, I don't think it's a good sign that he's mentioning it before this fight. You know, that means that he needs to move up. This is not an easy fight. Robeisy Ramirez is very, very talented. Their first fight was an absolute war. Talk about cardiac kid. Espinoza had to pull that one out of the fire. You know, he got dropped a few times himself early, had to score some knockdowns at the end to win the fight. So going into this rematch and kind of letting everybody know after this fight, which basically means win, lose, or draw, moving up, means I have to move up. I'm very surprised that he's been able to stay at this weight for this long. I met him recently at the Jaime Munguia fight. I couldn't believe he's 130 pounds. I mean, 126 pounds. It's mind-blowing. The guy was my height.
Can't believe he's going to be even 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's huge for 130. So my statement still stands. But at 26, it's unbelievable. But this is a tough fight, man. This is a good card. I'm really looking forward to the whole card. You got the Valdez Navarrete fight, and you got these guys on there too, fighting a very highly anticipated rematch where both of them looked fantastic in the fight in between. So interesting fight ahead of them there. But in terms of him moving up to 130, listen, 30 is a pretty open division. You know, Espinoza could do some damage there. Oftentimes in boxing, we'll have a really, really tough deep weight class, 126. Then there's kind of like a gap weight class, like 130, which is no real stars sticking out. Then obviously we got 135, one of the deepest weight classes in the division in the world. So you kind of get that in between weight class. There's going to be a lot of opportunity there for someone like Espinoza, 6'1" and all, to compete at 130. And where he's at, he's already been a world champion, like you said, Paul. He's already got his foot in the door. He's been in that room. He's going to be able to get a title fight pretty quickly at 130. So or should be able to. So interesting future for him, but he's got to deal with Robeisy Ramirez in front of him next month.
Yeah, Tim, what's your take? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
I just want to tell you right now, you look at a fighter and the way he looks, right, at a fight, in between fights, and if he looks huge, that tells you right there that he's not being disciplined in between fights, and eventually he's going to move up in weight.
How do you stay disciplined at 6'1"? I mean, your natural walking around weight's going to be big no matter what. There's no way you can maintain that out of camp.
Look, you can maintain the weight between 10 to 12 pounds in between matches. If you do that, that's a nice, comfortable way to be able to go through a training camp, lose some good weight instead of having to lose 20 to 25 to 30 pounds. I would say Espinoza, he's been, I checked, he's been at 126 for 8 years. He's 30 years old, so his muscles have matured now. And as you know, as you age, you start to put on a little bit more weight. And as you alluded to, Chris Algieri, you said that you saw him and he looked big. He had that catfish head. And so 130 seems like it's going to be a good weight class for him. However, 126, he got some business he got to handle, man. It's going to be difficult. I like Espinoza. I think he's a beast. I really do. Great counterpuncher. You got to deal with the attributes that he has, the long reach. He can box, he can punch as well. He's a great counterpuncher. He can box off the back foot. You can see how cerebral he is as well. He's very intelligent inside the ring. But there's one thing that I see, and I always look at these guys. This is the one takeaway that I have for most of the guys that I watch, and I say this is what makes him different, is his defense. He gets hit flush. He doesn't have a great defense. And that's going to be a problem when he gets in there with Robeisy. Robeisy knows that he can hurt him. He put him on the canvas before, and I think he's going to put him on the canvas again. You get better when you win a world championship. I understand that. He fights with a certain nature now. He's very confident. However, man, he gets hit on that chin against Robeisy Ramirez. If he's struggling and making weight to 126 pounds, he will get hurt. And trust me, in Robeisy Ramirez, he wants his belt back. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup that's going to be coming up, man. I think it's a pick'em fight. It's whoever lands first. But I would bet that Robeisy will land that kill shot, man, and he will end Espinoza.
Less than a month away between Espinoza and Robeisy Ramirez. Paulie, let me ask you this. We know Inoue is moving up to 126. He has to take care of Sam Goodman first. Is that any incentive for Rafael Espinoza to maybe stay at 126 with the possibility of maybe fighting Naoya Inoue?
I mean, listen, there's fantasy matchmaker, right? I mean, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but I don't know that Espinoza can make the weight. I think the fact that he said it before this fight, like Champ Chris Algieri just said, that's a really good point that he's saying it before this fight with Robeisy. He may be just commenting out of his emotions and because he's struggling to make weight. I remember before the Amir Khan fight telling my team, I didn't say it publicly, but I was like, guys, even if I win this fight, I'm moving up in weight. I have to vacate this title. Granted, I did not win the fight, but what I'm saying is, when you decide in your mind before a fight, as you're trying to make that weight, you're already realizing the sheer impossibility, this death struggle that it is at this weight. It's not a fun time. And when you decide, and that's never fun, don't get me wrong, but when you decide that, man, you've just had it, even before you make it, I think that you're struggling a lot. So I don't see him even trying to manipulate it at 126 just to stay for the Inoue fight. And plus, I don't think Inoue is going to go in that direction anyway.
Yeah, Chris, before we wrap it up here, let me get your thoughts here on possibly that Naoya Inoue moving up to 126 is an incentive for Espinoza to stay at featherweight.
No, I don't see it. I heard through the grapevine that he wanted to move even before this fight. He's staying at 126 for this rematch because it's a big fight and it's a big opportunity, and it's probably a nice payday. So no, I don't see him staying at 26 after this fight. He's already said it, but it's not a choice. I believe that this is a necessity for him at this stage.
Let me get this. I got insider information. Just let me. So, if Robeisy Ramirez retains his world championship, he beats Espinoza, and if there's a fight for Inoue to move up in a belt holder to face, this has always been part of the plan. But Espinoza ruined the plans when he beat Robeisy. Is to have Robeisy and Inoue have a showdown in Japan. It's a great matchup.
It's a good point, Tim. They put him on the card, Tim. You're right. They put Robeisy on the card when he beat Fulton. I remember that.
Yep. Yes. So there's a possibility we could see Inoue afterwards go up to 126 pounds and try to win a strap there against Robeisy Ramirez. But he has to win. He has to take care of business. So we shall see.
Yeah, that is going to be fascinating. If Inoue gets past Sam Goodman and then Robeisy Ramirez beats Rafael Espinoza, what a matchup that would be, Ramirez versus Inoue. But, Paulie, it's like fantasy boxing, right? Paulie, we have to get past their respective opponents first. It should be fascinating, and any developments about those fights, we will have them and react to them here on Top Stories. Quick reminder, scan the QR code, like, subscribe, leave your comments on our YouTube channel, download the ProBox TV app, where apps are available. November 9th, the Contender Series here on ProBox TV. Nicholas Flas versus Christian Gomez is the main event. You can watch it on YouTube and on the app as well. I am George DeMatteis, and that does it for Boxing Scene's Top Stories.
ProBox TV Contender Series. Nicholas Flas steps into the ring against Christian Gomez. And don't miss former world champion Jojo Diaz as he returns to the ring in search of glory.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.